Hello and welcome. You're watching Tech 24. I'm Julia Seeger. Coming up, the traditional Salon de l'Agriculture is currently underway here in Paris, a time for rare breeds of cows, sheep, horses, and pigs from all over the country to travel to the capital, and an opportunity for the Tech 24 team to take a look at the digital revolution farms are undergoing. And we're taking Test 24 outside the studio this week for a demonstration of a special foosball game. It's all the thrills of traditional table football, but with the backing of a social network. But first, turns out it wasn't just dust on the telescope lens. NASA astronomers have just spotted 7 Earth-sized planets around a nearby star, some or all of which could harbor water and possibly life. Rudaba Abbas tells us what this announcement means and how excited we should be about this discovery.
It's a discovery by NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope that is leading many to question whether there is life beyond our solar system. Astronomers have found a record 7 Earth-sized planets orbiting around a dwarf star called the TRAPPIST-1, which is located almost 40 light-years away from our own planet. Researchers say they roughly match the size and mass of Earth and are almost certainly rocky, potentially containing water.
We have, thanks to Spitzer 2, preliminary measurements of the masses for 6 of them. And for one of them, our measurement is precise enough to strongly suggest a water-rich composition, which is very exciting because this is one of the planets in the habitable zone.
NASA and the Belgian-led research team say their discovery adds to growing evidence that the Milky Way may be populated with tens of billions of worlds, not unlike our own. But they say they will study the atmosphere of the planets before determining whether they could support signs of life.
The discovery gives us a hint that finding a second Earth is not just a matter of if, but when.
In this illustration, scientists have compared a basketball to the sun and the golf ball to TRAPPIST-1. They say TRAPPIST-1's star is much cooler and smaller than the sun. This suggests that 3 planets in the habitable Goldilocks zone lie closer to it, with very short orbital periods.
And time to welcome our in-house expert, Dan and Jay Kadalkar. Hello and welcome, Dan.
Hello, Julia.
It's not just the Spitzer telescope that's been peering into deep space. Before that, Hubble was the pioneer back in the early 90s.
That's right. It was in April 1990 that the Hubble Space Telescope was launched in space. It has been a real trailblazer in terms of new discoveries. For example, Hubble has taken some spectacular images of number of nebulas, and the most iconic of them is the so-called the Pillars of Creation, which is the Eagle Nebula. Then there are these gorgeous images of the Crab Nebula, the Ring Nebula, and the Horsehead Nebula. But Hubble has not only been looking at nebula, but other objects like, for example, closer to us are the planets, and it has given us some spectacular images of Pluto and Saturn, and it has also given us some really, it can only be described as a piece of art, images of our nearest galaxy, the Andromeda Galaxy. And beyond this, Hubble has also improved our understanding of the mysterious dark energy. It has also given us more information about the quasars and the age of the universe.
Now let's go back to the exoplanets. Their discovery is just the beginning. More satellites will be launched and deployed to find out if there is or not on these planets water and possible signs of life. So in other words, research continues.
That's right. Now there is an array of telescopes which will be directed towards this particular solar system. This includes the Kepler telescope, which has been, you could say, the pioneer in terms of detecting exoplanets, because it's a very simple telescope. It was launched in 2009. It has only a photometer, but the principle of it is that it detects the changes in the emission of brightness as as a planet transits transits in front of the star. So any change in any dip in the brightness, this photometer detects, and then it determines whether it is a planet or some other body moving in front of the star. It has detected thousands of exoplanets. Some are confirmed, some are unconfirmed. So this will be directed towards the recently discovered system. Along with it, the James Webb Telescope, which is another engineering marvel. It will be launched in 2018, and that will also be used in determining various factors on these 7 planets, including the pressure, presence of methane, oxygen, water, which are the essential components that are, for breeding life. So the James Webb Telescope, the one interesting thing about it is that it will be operating at phenomenal distance from Earth. That is like 1.5 million kilometers away from Earth, and it will be controlled, of course.
So how far is that?
So
say compared to the moon?
It's beyond the orbit of the moon. So compare it with Hubble Space Telescope, which operates at a distance of 550 kilometers, and you'll be able to know the kind of precise and advanced engineering that has gone in the making of the James Webb Telescope.
Well, thank you for this fascinating explanation, Dan. We're going to move on now to a whole other story. The Salon de l'Agriculture has opened here in Paris. And for those of you who aren't familiar, it's a celebration of farm machinery and infinite varieties of barnyard animals, a show that attracts more than 700,000 people annually. But for the last couple of years, the fair has been overshadowed by the fact that farmers are having trouble to make ends meet. Increasingly, they have to face climate variability and volatile market prices. So to help them grow more with fewer resources, many are turning to robots and the Internet of Things to improve their farms. Our reporters Karina Chabour and Thomas Waterhouse have this report.
When it comes to weeding his land, Franck Ishard calls on the help of Oz. This little electric robot can work for 4 hours non-stop. With its laser, its GPS and its 2 cameras, it races its way along the furrows 3 times quicker than man and totally unassisted, meaning that this market gardener can concentrate on his lettuces.
The robot's finished before me.
Once the assigned task is complete, or whenever there's a problem, the robot sends a text message.
It means we don't have to employ as many people, and so obviously our costs are down. We spend much less on the robot than we would do on staff.
Despite costing an initial 25,000 euros, the robot quickly pays for itself. Another gadget that's proved cost-effective is Edouard Mumlet's digital weather station. With the help of its sensors, it can measure the temperature, the level of rainfall or the wind speed, all useful information that's transferred to Edouard in real time.
It means I can stop and start irrigating depending on what the conditions are like. If the wind's too strong, I can't water my crops, otherwise it sprays all over.
Edouard can also share this information with his neighbours. Such technology is also helping farmers communicate better with consumers.
Bonjour.
To get these fresh vegetables, this city dweller has created an online allotment. From the comfort of her home, she grows produce on a 40-square-metre patch of earth in the Paris region. For 30 euros a month, she receives around 15 veg boxes a year.
It's ecological because everything is grown locally in a sustainable way. It's also cost-effective because the vegetables are much cheaper than in a supermarket.
Last year, French farmers saw their earnings fall by 26%. With these new gadgets, they hope to get more bang for their buck.
And we're going to move on now to Test 24. Dan, did you enjoy playing a special foosball game?
Well, I'm not a big fan of foosball in general, but this time it was more fun for sure.
All right, we're going to take a look, Dan, testing out the first social network for foosball players, a social media platform that was created by the French startup TechBack.
Foosball fans rejoice because the games got better and it's more fun. Thanks to some innovations made by the French firm TechBack, which has added a lot of sensors, to this traditional game, which is normally restricted to a room. But now, because of these innovations, it's become a part of social network in which you can share information, share your statistics, and it's a great way of getting together and, besides playing, to know each other as well. So let's give it a shot. The name of the social network is Foosball Society, and at the heart of it is this mobile-based app. Through this app, essentially you just scan this barcode and you get your unique identification and you are ready to play. Once you put this phone on the table, you are able to get all the parameters, the number of goals you score, the number of goals you score against specific people, and it is done because this table is connected. There are many sensors in this table. The heart of this table is a Linux-based nano computer. There's a display screen here. So what the sensors do is they detect the speed of the ball, they detect the pressure, so you get all the parameters, for example, the speed at which the goal was scored, and obviously the score line as well. So here, as you can see on this display right now, we are leading by 3-0. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the social network enables you to not only know the parameters on this table, but of all the 20 tables which are currently in use in France. The idea is to expand these to, I don't know, to hundreds of tables all over the world. And using the social network, you can get different parameters, you can get your progress graph, and in the future, the company is planning to insert a chat option through which you can chat directly with people all over the world. Now, the basic idea of this concept is to give a physical feel to social networking, which is lacking in other social networks, whether you play games on PlayStation or you chat on Facebook. So hopefully I'll be able to score a number of goals from now because I'm quite bad at it. Let me give it a shot. Almost.
So who won in the end?
Of course, me and my French Tech24 counterpart, Guillaume, we smashed our opponents. I don't know, we were leading 3-0 at one time.
So you're not that bad at foosball. You were telling me you were really bad.
Yeah, but I don't like it that much. But yes, with the social networking, I might start playing more.
It looks like you had fun. Well, thank you. And thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. And do stay with us here on France 24.